When you purchase a off-road motorcycle, it's more than just purchasing the motorcycle. It tends to be a lifestyle commitment with traditional gasoline motorcycles. What I mean by lifestyle commitment is that you're buying a motorcycle that's going to weigh 120 kg, maybe 240 pounds, 250 pounds. You need a vehicle and some way to transport that, whether it's a truck or a trailer. You're going to need to be able to move this vehicle around. In addition, you have to be prepared for the maintenance that comes with a traditional high-performance off-road motorcycle. That maintenance requires a full set of tools, somewhere to do the maintenance, but also all of the parts that you're going to use, your consumable parts. In addition, the other lifestyle impact is your safety equipment. You're going to need a gym bag worth of safety equipment, whether that's boots, helmets, gloves. And so there's a fairly big lifestyle commitment that comes around with buying a traditional gasoline motorcycle. As we look at traditional gasoline off-road motorcycles, what we see is that they're fairly maintenance intensive due to the operating conditions and high performance that the manufacturers offer, particularly on the two-stroke motorcycles, which are the most powerful, lightest, and have the most dynamic ride feel. As a result of the high intensity or high frequency of the maintenance, we find that most users decide to do the basic maintenance themselves, which means you need to invest in the technical skills, but also the tools, the space, and the equipment to do the most frequent kind of every ride type maintenance. With this maintenance being so frequent, it's not feasible to take the bike to the motorcycle shop for the most frequent maintenance. Every 1 hour, we're changing air filters, or every ride. We're changing the oil every 5 to 10 hours. We're changing the piston every 50 to 100 hours. And we're changing engine bearings maybe every 80 to 100 to 200 hours. What that adds up to is that's a lot of time that people are doing maintenance. Amongst my friends who ride traditional gasoline motorcycles, they typically spend around 1 hour per ride on maintenance. Depending on the season and the time of day, a ride can be as short as an hour, maybe as long as all day. But every single ride is around 1 hour of maintenance to get the bike prepped and ready to go. Whether that's pre-mixing fuel, whether that's checking spark plugs, changing air filters, lubricating chains, looking for loose bolts on the vehicle. There's a fairly hefty time commitment that we see that averages around 1 hour per ride. Oftentimes with our off-road electric vehicles, we have access to more riding locations than you typically would have on a gasoline vehicle. Much of that access is going to be closer into the city or maybe even someone's backyard, riding on a private track. So what we see is that the frequency of use of Graft vehicles is potentially much higher than a traditional gasoline motorcycle, where typically you and your friends are riding once a week or maybe 2 times on the weekend, but not during the weekday. With its low sound impact and the ability to ride closer to home, we realized that we needed to design the Graft vehicles to take advantage of that ability to do short, frequent rides, not just a 3-hour ride on a Sunday or a 6-hour ride on Saturday. And so we wanted to be able to make sure that our customers could do a 45-minute or 1-hour ride after work. Once we realized we want to have a very low maintenance motorcycle and all of the vehicles in the Graft lineup, the question was, how do we achieve that? Fortunately for us, we're also building ultra lightweight and reliable vehicles. And so really the answer to that is simplicity. We worked really hard to remove all of the moving parts we could. So our vehicle is down to just 3 moving parts. We have a motor, a chain, and a rear wheel. Nothing else in the vehicle is a moving component. We have no secondary drive, we have no gear reductions, we have no clutches, we have no secondary belt drives that need to be maintained. So by reducing the component count and simplifying the design, we were able to really drive the maintenance quite high. The next thing we see is off-road motorcycles and off-road vehicles see a tremendous amount of vibration. That typically will cause things like loose fasteners, but gasoline motorcycles have even more vibration due to the gasoline engine. So we have a little bit easier problem to solve because we don't have the engine-based vibrations, we're just dealing with trail-based vibrations. What we've done is we've developed all of our fasteners use either a special locking washer, European standard locking washer, or we use thread lock. So all of our fasteners are installed and will install for life, and we have no issues with vibration or any fasteners coming loose. The other item that we see where we see a lot of maintenance is on bearings. So we utilize fully sealed bearings, meaning that they're sealed for life. They don't need to be re-greased. So whether you're riding in deep water or you're pressure washing the bike or riding in silt or sand, we're not going to see grease getting polluted with these contaminants. By utilizing the fully sealed bearings, not just shielded bearings, we're able to make sure that the systems and the bearings run clean for the life of the vehicle typically. Compared to a traditional gasoline motorcycle, there's a long list of maintenance that's not necessary on the Graft EO12. The first one would be air filter changes. Obviously, with an electric drivetrain, we're not pulling air into a combustion engine, particularly in a dirty environment. So we remove the need for that air filter clean and change that happens pretty much every ride for a traditional off-road vehicle. In addition, that 5 to 10 hour oil change, our vehicle doesn't use oil, so we don't have a gearbox, we don't have anything where the oil's getting hot or oil's being worked hard that you would see in a traditional gasoline engine, where the oil's really lubricating the engine but also cooling the engine. We have a solid state cooling system, so we don't have a radiator that needs to be refilled or hoses that need to be mended or checked for leaks. The big maintenance that we see on gasoline engines are piston changes and main end changes, so changing the bearings on the crankshaft. Obviously, we don't have that. Our motor is designed to last the life of the vehicle, and our electric motor has sealed bearings to last the life of the vehicle. All of those are eliminated on the Graft EO12. For a typical rider who's riding maybe once or twice every week on a two-stroke gasoline motorcycle, they're typically paying anywhere from 10 to 20% of the cost of bike in the maintenance per year. That's a significant investment in maintenance, and this is a cost if you do most of the maintenance yourself, not doing maintenance at the dealership. With the Graft EO12, that maintenance virtually goes to zero. So on the Graft EO12, when we look at maintenance, our every ride maintenance that we need to do, we need to clean the bike and oil the chain. When we oil the chain, what we're doing is we can use just a simple anti-corrosion oil to keep the chain from having corrosion on the outside. Our chains are O-ring sealed, so they're sealed for life internally, and we're just lubricating the external surfaces of the chain. The other maintenance that we would do is typically around twice a year. You'll want to check the chain tension and retension the chain. That's a quick job that takes just 3 hand tools, basic hand tools, but no service parts, no consumables are needed. Other than that, there's virtually no maintenance to the Graft EO12. No consumables except for tires, which you'll see on any motorcycle. All the components on the EO12 are serviced and designed to last the life of the vehicle. So the only service parts we really are looking at are brake pads and tires. At Graft, we've worked extremely hard to make a bike that's easy to use, but doesn't limit your abilities when you hit the trail. With our 20 kilowatts of peak power and just 50 kg of weight, it means you have all the performance of the latest two-stroke motorcycles. But we really wanted to make sure that the bike was easy to use and didn't have such a large impact on your lifestyle. So by reducing the maintenance through our design choices, we found a bike that's easy to ride, offers high levels of performance, yet doesn't have this huge impact into your lifestyle, and really is targeted towards, let's say, casual riders or mid-level riders, or even experienced riders who want to be able to do frequent after-work rides on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night, but don't want to set up this time to do all the maintenance, and also to have a bike that's consistently working every time you take it out.